Friday from 7 to 9. When you see that notification, we about to go live. Hit this track and do you dance like you Karen Lacey. Run it back to time, Matthew to the house, baby. It's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9. Come keep with the show. It's a new era. Let's get it, let's go. From 7 to 9. It's Tingle and Co.
It's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9. Come keep with the show. It's a new era. Welcome in here on this Thursday morning as Lloyd is working on his rap career during the, what did Brian Burgess call it, the pre-show entertainment.
It was.
It definitely is entertaining.
Wait, y'all can't hear us, right?
The things that go on pre-show. I hope you can't hear half the things that come out of Lloyd's mouth. But Lloyd, good morning. Jonathan, good morning. How are we doing?
Kinfolk.
How are we feeling?
Excellent. Look at that. Boom. New chairs. New chairs in the office. New chairs. New chair alert.
New chairs. We have enough room for everybody now.
But it's just me.
There you go. New chairs.
Look at that. Wow, I look like the loneliest boy.
You do. You're on Chair Island.
Nobody came to my fucking birthday party.
No, you're like a bad draft pig.
But then we'll fill out that wall behind. We'll get this thing rocking and rolling. But we appreciate
These
all
are
of
two
you
good draft picks.
joining us. Yes, two very good draft picks.
Nope.
Oh.
Nope, not what I intended.
I got nervous there for a second.
Good morning, boys.
But good morning to all of you, and we appreciate you joining us on this Thursday morning. Lloyd, how was Mikey last night?
Excellent. We gave out
some
the
awards.
We gave out the Mikeys and the Mitches. Mikeys are good. Mitches are bad. But I ended up drafting a pair.
Who are our winners of each of the Mikeys and the Mitches?
I think you can guess who got the Mitch Award. But that's okay. You have time. It's only the mid-season.
Mid-season Mikeys and Mitches.
And then I gave the most valuable player to Grant Chadwick.
Wow. Hey.
An off-the-board pick there. It was actually Mansour Delane, but then if I had to pick another, because
the field.
It was a clean sweep for Mansour, which
Yes.
I think that's probably the smart pick.
I agree. I think that would be
Best player on the team, maybe?
most valuable. I mean, and when you look at mock drafts, I usually see one LSU logo in the first round.
It's him.
And it's Mansour Delane in the sometimes like the top 15, first corner off the board.
You know what your best availability is, or your best ability is?
Availability.
And it seems like LSU might be in trouble on that front.
Yeah, we'll get into that here in a moment when we go through the availability report as well. Brian Kelly was on the SEC teleconference yesterday, went through some of the injury report as the availability report was dropped later last night. LSU men's and women's basketball took the podium at SEC tip-off yesterday. We'll also look at Vandy's route to the college football playoff as well as LSU's, and a couple of other things that stood out this morning here on this Thursday. But we will start with the picture that LSU football dropped yesterday. It's got the white helmets in the photograph. They do the pre-game photo each week. They drop the LSU helmet and the opponent's helmet, and usually they go with like an old bucket helmet for the opposing team. This time Vandy gets a speed flex.
Do you think that they caught flack for that?
The bucket helmets?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember.
Or maybe they didn't have one.
People were like getting onto them, like, "Oh, well, you can't put a real helmet. Like, does LSU not have a real Florida helmet? Can we send one in?" Like, no, it's like on purpose. They're including, but this is the first time I think that they've done it with an actual legitimate Vandy helmet, and you see LSU with the white one, and that begs the question: what uniform is LSU going to rock on Saturday?
What does Vanderbilt usually wear at home?
I would assume.
Are they wearing the golds?
You think LSU's wearing golds?
Mm-hmm.
That was, and that's part of the question. I did put together that little graphic. I think I emailed it over to you. With just the traditional uniforms and kind of the ranking of those five. But I saw this, and the question is, what jersey is LSU going to wear? Because there's three possibilities, right? They wear the white helmet with either the purple jersey and white pants, white jersey, white pants, gold jersey, white pants. I didn't include the gold jersey in this because they've only used it once.
But against whom?
But against Vanderbilt. These are just the traditional uniform rotations. And as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those are the rankings. Any disagreements around the room? Any disagreements in the chat?
It looks like Jamar Chase just saw something that scared him. Ooh.
Oh, a rat!
Yeah, oh.
I mean, I have bad taste, so I like the purple gold. Those have always been
like
my
the
second
one
favorite.
ranked
the
4?
traditional, yeah.
Okay.
But Vanderbilt.
I really don't mind those.
I love
Me
them.
neither.
That's just how they used to. I don't know.
That's
The old man in me.
Yeah, it does remind me of
It's just the only
2003.
other option we used to have.
It reminds me of Jack Hunt.
But Vanderbilt's going to wear black, probably. I'd imagine.
And
I
that's
mean, it seems like this is Vanderbilt's thing where they
dictate
I feel
LSU's
like LSU,
uniforms.
every time they play Vanderbilt,
They're the only people that try to cuckold LSU in the uniform game.
What was it, 2019? They go white, purple, white.
Because
And then
Vanderbilt
last
wanted
year,
to wear.
white, gold, white. Vanderbilt wore gray in that game.
And they're still mad about Jerry DiNardo?
Yeah, it's the Jerry DiNardo game bowl.
Right.
I don't think. I mean,
So
God
what did they
bless
wear
Jerry
in-
DiNardo. But does he work for like the Big 12 network?
What did
He's
they
alive?
I think so.
What did they wear in 2020? LSU beat Vanderbilt in week 2 of 2020 after losing. And they wore the normal, the traditionals, gold, white, gold in 2020. 2019, obviously white, purple, white. Last season, white, gold, white. I would assume. I think some people assumed icy whites. I would assume they're going to wear white, purple, white. Which, if you throw
I assume so.
if you throw that ranking back on the board, that is my second favorite uniform that LSU rocks. And if it wasn't for the fact that number 1 is the traditional, I think aesthetically, number 2 is probably my favorite one to look at.
I was about to say you scared to make it one because of the.
I'm not scared, but it's just
You're scared.
The number
You're scared.
1 has
Do it.
my,
Make
has
it
my
one.
heart.
It
Like,
does.
it's got the emotional aspect of it. All my best memories watching LSU football are in gold, white, gold.
And it's
But
fun.
aesthetically, too, it's just
They look phenomenal. Like when whenever they came out,
right.
and you're like, oh, these look. I would never thought to make this a. I didn't know
Right.
they had white helmets. And then when they put the combination together, like this looks really good.
It looks outstanding.
And then it's funny because they get mad about the piping on the white, purple, white, but look
Right.
at the piping on your traditionals. They don't match either.
Right.
So
The piping really doesn't match on
any of them.
any of them.
But somehow it works. Like I would never think to do that as an aesthetic man, but it does work.
Do you consider yourself an aesthetic man?
Yeah, I do. I
You wear sweatpants every day.
yeah, but when I try, it's great.
Right. But yeah, I think
Not every day is the Kentucky Derby for me, Jonathan. Unlike yourself,
I'm assuming
little
it'll
pearl
be
snaps.
white, purple, white.
Yes, Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, I want to be a cowboy.
It's a Dolly
Yeehaw.
Parton t-shirt.
Let's see.
Get well soon, Dolly.
Seville, white, purple, white. Spectrum, white, purple, white. Brian Burgess, white, purple, white. Probably. Seville says, or all whites.
All I know is my least favorite, my last place, is the broken egg.
Mm-hmm.
The white, yellow, white is just silly.
From last year's
Yeah,
Vandy?
it looks like a kitchen accident.
Yeah. See, I like, and if you want to put the graphic back up, the 5th one is the one that throws me off the most, I guess.
That one is
the one I
weird.
have ranked 5 where they just throw the white, like there's just some games they'll just throw the white the pants on. Like they
Yeah.
did it for, I think, Southeastern. They wore gold, white, white. I don't think it looks bad, but sometimes it just throws me off when they do it because like I don't even really notice until I like actually look into them. Like, oh, they're wearing white pants.
And this will happen to me whenever I play NCAA. Like I'll try to put together like an LSU uniform combination. I think I sent you a screenshot last year of that when it was like I was like I've never seen these, and then I'll start like trying to find different combinations, and I go gold, white, gold. I was like, oh, these are the normal ones. That's what they look. It's like these look good.
That's just.
This looks excellent on the.
Oh, it says home.
What about whenever you rock the? One day we should just rock the banana.
I was about to say on the game I've worn gold, gold, gold.
Yeah, and then you're like, please never see this in real
It's
life.
really bad, but we should,
Yeah, no, it isn't.
a lot of things are bad that people try.
No, if it should be LSU goes gold, 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 and then Florida goes blue, blue, blue. And
That
it's
would
just
be-
like this looks like a crime scene,
That would be disrespectful to
like
that
a bank
football.
robbery.
That would be disrespectful to the rival.
It would be.
It would be like,
Everything's got out the window.
we've lost the plot in the football game. But LSU wearing white helmets this Saturday, like we all assume, white, purple, white. The same combination they wore when LSU went up to Nashville in 2019 and handled business against the Commodores and left with a pretty big victory. That doesn't seem to be the conversation around the country right now, though. It appears as if a lot of the national media and others are pretty confident in Vanderbilt's chances in this football game. And I was almost surprised at how confident many are in Vanderbilt going into this game. Then I really sat back down and thought about it. And if I was not LSU, and even before the availability report came out, if I was not as close to LSU or viewed it the way I did, and I was just a national media or just a football fan looking at it, a lot of things are in Vanderbilt's favor, like the fact that LSU's needs to be able to run the football. Vandy's got one of the best run defenses in the country. They also have one of the best rushing offenses in the country, which leads to controlling the clock, controlling the game. But on top of that, Vandy, when they lose to Alabama, lost due to a handful of turnovers. They had 2 red zone turnovers, and if they clean that up, it probably looks a little bit different. But the biggest thing that I see is they come off a loss and they go into a bye week, while LSU's coming off of another straight bye win over South Carolina. Vandy has 2 weeks to prepare, self-scout, and it's at their place, at their time, essentially 11 a.m., and all of those things kind of lead into Vanderbilt having the edge. As you see here, this is the percentage of bets. Wow. All the money's on Vandy.
Delicious.
Does that say 94%?
Delicious.
Honestly,
the public is,
Wow. Because, look,
it's usually not very. If the public were right all the time, Vegas wouldn't exist.
Right. I wasn't.
it feels like an easy trendy pick to me. Sorry, not to
Yeah.
cut you off.
No, yeah. No, I wasn't surprised Vandy's the favorite, but I'm surprised how many people are riding with. Because this feels like, to me, like LSU plus 2.5. Like, of course, I'll take it all day.
Yeah, it feels like it. And this is where we have to wrap our heads around, not your mama's Vandy, I guess, not. Because this would be LSU minus 6.5 usually,
right,
going into Vanderbilt. But now, even this year, it felt like LSU at one point was top 5 team in the country,
right?
And ever since then, it feels like they've been forgotten about. They lose the game to Ole Miss, who is now a top 5 team in the country. You flopped, you flip flopped,
yeah. And
it feels like LSU, that win or the win for Ole Miss, I guess, gets the respect, but LSU's loss gets over. It was a terrible loss for LSU. But I think it's all because of the way you looked.
It was a 5-point loss.
Right. But I think people...
Against a really good opponent at home. It's not like it was a...
I think it was almost because I don't even know how that happened.
Makes me sick, too.
Yeah. I think it was almost because it was like a confirmation of something that game was. Less for Ole Miss, more for LSU of they were playing with fire against Tech, and then they played with fire again against Florida, and then they looked good against Southeastern. Oh, are they on the other side of this? More so Garrett Nussmeier, and then that fire ends up burning them against Ole Miss. And on top of that, now you go into South Carolina, and you're still kind of playing with fire. And JD said it yesterday on the show. It's eerily similar to Ole Miss, where you're coming off of this timing where the momentum is picked up a little bit, Southeastern Florida, but you still know you have problems. But the other team, you're going to their house, favored by 2.5 earlier in the day, this, that, or the other. There's a lot of things going in Vandy's way, in Vandy's favor. That's why I'm not surprised they're favored. And if I was looking at it with an unbiased opinion, and I was just a fan of football, I would also favor Vandy in this football game. And on top of that, if you want to pull up the availability report, this further not confirms, but further pushes that narrative of Vandy should be favored in this football game, because Vanderbilt rushes the foot. I think they are number 1 in the country in yards per carry, and they also run the football a lot. So that's a pretty impressive stat, because they run the football a lot, and if you're number 1 at yards per carry, you're able to. That means you're pretty good at running the football.
Yeah.
And so seeing this availability report that came out yesterday further pushes that narrative where obviously you knew Gabriel Reliford was going to be out. You see Bernard Gooden as doubtful, which when BK was talking about on Monday, it was a collarbone bruise. Said they'd go with it throughout the week. To see the initial report come out and it say doubtful for your best defensive lineman, your best defensive tackle. And I don't think this will affect the rush defense as much. Obviously, there will be a slight effect, but I think they have good bodies there. They have depth at that position in the run game. What it will affect is your ability to rush the passer from the interior, because that's the reason you brought 88 in, was to create havoc from the inside.
And that's where you want to get. That's where you can get Pavia kind of off his spot. Right. He likes to, I guess, play a la Johnny Manziel. He kind of reminds me more of Baker. like the little bulldog mentality, like wants
Right.
to go run.
Right.
It's not actually the fastest or the strongest, but it's just got a whole lot of like FU in him. And that's where Bernard Gooden, and when you get on those like shorter guys up the middle, you saw it happen to Drew Brees in the playoffs when the Vikings just blitzed the A gap and
Right.
Drew Brees got off his spot.
Right.
No, Bernard Gooden is who has been playing really well is Tank.
No, and
That's what I'm saying. Like you got some depth on the defensive line, but now
100%.
you're down Reliford, now you're down Gooden, now you're down Butler. Like you brought in a bunch of players to be able to help this defensive line, and now you don't have. Two
Yeah,
of
I
them.
mean, to see doubtful for Gooden, and like I said, Ahmad Bro, I think, can step up. You've got Dominic McKinley, Walter Mathis Jr. has played well, and like you said, Jacoby and Guillory's been really good. And so I think in the run game, they'll be okay on the inside. But he's your only kind of ace card in the pass rush from the interior, except maybe Dominic McKinley, who we're still waiting to see. So this could be an opportunity for 96 to really step up. On top of that, when you look at questionable, you see Jimari Butler and Whit Weeks, and I think that's the next, like, when you see number 40 on that list. Now, look, I think Whit's questionable is different than most people's questionable. I think Whit Weeks, if he can play, he will play. There wasn't, Brian didn't really, BK didn't really give
Brian.
I know. Brian didn't really give a specific injury on Whit.
I was talking with Brian yesterday.
Like he just said on Monday, he was just like
pain
well,
all
Whit's
over.
just-
Pain all over.
Yeah, basically. Like, oh, everything hurts.
Just pain.
Like he didn't give a specific injury, and then on top of that, you also see Jimari Butler, who's played extremely well, who also will shift to the interior on third downs or passing downs to bring that presence there. So you'll see if the defense, how deep they are, if they can't step, but seeing Gooden out, or doubtful, seeing Whit questionable, seeing Butler questionable, that then continues to raise the question about why Vanderbilt is looked at as such a relative favorite.
So yeah, especially because it's going to be a lot of ball control.
Right.
Right. It's going to be they're going to be on the field. It's not a week you want to have depth issues, even if we do have good depth at some of these positions. You're going to need as many guys out there as possible, especially if the offense has trouble getting going. And you have some quick drives and stuff. It's just not the week you want.
Right. No, this
Top
is
guys. You just kind of want all men available to
right.
keep rotating. in and out.
Especially when so much is already being, in theory, stacked against you, to have on top of the fact that they're coming off a bye week. So they'll probably be relatively healthier than LSU is in general. They have had more time to prepare. They've had, this, that, or the other. They're playing at their place. It's 11 a.m. They're not having to get on a bus or a plane or whatever. And so there are a lot of things that are leaning Vanderbilt's direction. And on top of that, you've now got some of your better players missing.
When was the last time we came
God,
out?
so much vomit. It does look like coffee though.
Yeah, it's just straight coffee. It's just coming. He tried to catch it.
I think he caught his mouthpiece.
Nice. They did it again last Saturday.
Yeah, and this is all adding up very quickly to one person. We've been.
She also. Oh, let me pull this up. She put this video out on TikTok.
There's a fox in the hen house.
Let me see here. See if it's still there. I feel like it was fake. Let me walk up to the camera so they can see it.
You do this one?
Yeah.
This one.
This one here. I don't see hair coming off, but it frightens me.
Oh, there's hair coming out.
It's funny. I feel the same way she feels. If I was there, I'd be doing the same thing Landry's doing. And then look at Wes.
He's a fucking lunatic.
Look at Wes in the back.
Uh-huh.
Like, I would be reacting the same way. Don't shave your hair.
No, I
Don't
mean
mess
that's your
with that.
superpower. But also, if you dare him to do anything, I feel like he'll do it.
100%. I mean,
Yeah.
that's who he is. Like, hey, Whit, bet you won't.
I wonder if he does. He probably does like a little cleanup every week, though. And so
Maybe.
he's
That's
That's how that
basically,
was. You saw that's like a number 12.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
like, it's quite a large guard.
yeah. We need a large guard.
Yeah, because like there wasn't a bunch of hair like.
Yeah, it wasn't a straight buzz.
That's what first because
that was
Max, my younger brother, like flipped his phone and showed it to me, and all I saw was this, and I was like,
No.
stop.
We need the headband. We need the eye black. We need the vomit, and we need you to play. And Brian Kelly, when he talked about put him on the injury report, I kind of thought the same thing you did. Then I went back and listened. Like the second time I heard it, it said it's in relation to the injury, which I think is the leg.
Right.
Like whenever he obviously so it's like the soreness from his ankle.
Because it seems like he got banged up against Ole Miss at the end of that game, and then I'm assuming it rolled over, got re-aggravated.
Yeah, we just assumed that he's just like sore.
Yeah.
But I think that was
no, I mean
because he came back so fast, but it was a
snapped his leg in
dislocated
half.
ankle and a broken leg.
Right.
And it's like I would imagine it does hurt a little bit.
Yeah. No, I mean, but I still think like if you tell me Whit Weeks is questionable on a Wednesday, I'll say he's going to play Saturday.
Yeah.
Just knowing, and then you see Aaron Anderson probable,
But-
Paul Mubenga probable.
What's the brother's name?
West.
If it's somehow they like trade superpowers.
Yeah, I
Whenever
you
one
saw
goes
last
down,
time when Whit got the targeting penalty,
West came out and played the best game of his life.
he looked like Luke Kuechly.
He did.
It was
Getting coached up by his brother.
It was beyond impressive. So I mean, there are some question marks with the injury. With if you are missing, like, because you obviously get a knock in confidence if Bernard Gooden and Whit Weeks aren't playing,
Yes.
and Jimari Butler, right? I mean, as deep as this defense is, and look, I'll look right at the camera. This defense is really deep. Like they are impressive with depth, front, linebacker, back end, all of it. They are deep. They've got guys to plug and play this, that, or the other. Anytime you lose a top end guy, it's going to hurt you. And Bernard Gooden is your best defensive lineman going into a game where you want your defensive front to be dominant because Vanderbilt's got a really good offensive line. There was a guy on, I think, SEC Network that labeled, or maybe it was Fox Sports, labeled Vanderbilt's offensive line the best in the country. They have a good offensive line. They have a really good offensive identity. And you want to have all of your pieces ready to go, especially on that defensive front. And as much confidence as I have in the guys behind Bernard Gooden and Whit Weeks and Jimari Butler, do they not play? It still sucks not having your best guys out there. And so it's just it's a tough chain of events, I would say, when you see the national media, because I think the biggest, and this is where the conversation, the biggest thing I've seen is that almost people are expecting Vanderbilt to like punk LSU. Like Vanderbilt's more physical. LSU's no longer intimidating. Vanderbilt's got their identity. LSU's not. Like they're anticipating almost like this embarrassment of like on a national stage, Vanderbilt announcing themselves by punking the big dog.
I think there's a good contingency of people clearly that you see the way that the public is thinking about it when you look at the odds and the money both on Vanderbilt is usually if I were a gambling man, which I am, and I looked at this subjectively, which I try to do, but with LSU involved, always a bit of more of a twisted eye. But if you were to bet, like my uncle taught me how to gamble, if you see this, you're betting LSU 10 times out of 10.
Right.
If you see the public money and the percentage of bets both on Vanderbilt, like, oh, don't take the cheese, brother, go the other way, and that's how Vegas, you're on the house's side, which is where you'd like to live. But I do think there is that tells me what people think of LSU nationally, and also what Vanderbilt, it feels like almost roles are reversed in this somehow, where they assume, like, they think Vanderbilt's a better team. And I do think it goes back to the last time that LSU played kind of like a national game, and this doesn't count as that because it's 11 a.m., but the last time everybody saw LSU.
2:30 p.m. against Ole Miss.
Yep.
And LSU
and then
essentially...
And then you go through the box scores, if that's how you want to look at it.
Right. And
there's nothing there.
LSU's not impressing anybody.
No.
Because what it looks like is it's almost saying LSU needs to hold Vanderbilt to less than 20, right? Because that's the theme to the season. LSU's only going to score 20 points. So if LSU holds Vandy less than 20, and I think a lot of people are thinking, well, there's no way Diego Pavia is only going to score 20 points. And you see Vandy defensive lineman Zaylen Wood, his quote yesterday made the rounds. He said, "I have so much trust in our defense. We're itching for a shutout."
Oh, yeah. Say it. Say that more.
We are itching for a shutout.
Yeah, LSU, you better...
This is the mindset you just shifted into is where I'm at.
Yeah.
This is it's This has gotten too far out of hand.
Yeah, but don't fucking forget who you are.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, and no, this is not a knock against Vanderbilt. It's a knock against LSU. If anything, Vanderbilt should not be able to sit there and say, we're itching for a shutout
That's
against LSU.
It's
Ever in my life, my 23 years of living,
33.
what are we talking about? And the fact
21.
that not only is it just the Vanderbilt team saying it's the national media, it's the most like current discussion around this football game is Vanderbilt's going to out physical and spank LSU. On the national stage, that's what's being said. Vanderbilt is the more physically imposing team between them and LSU. And that's where I'm sitting, where I'm like, my fan comes out a little bit of like,
Yeah,
no,
just did.
this cannot be allowed to happen. And I saw
this
it.
aggression will not stand.
No, like I saw a tweet put out yesterday. See if I can find it. Chris Landry at Chris_M_Landry. He says, "Let me just say this: if Brian Kelly can't figure out how to take this in parentheses extremely talented LSU roster and beat a Vanderbilt team, giving him free bulletin board material, I'll be officially out on him forever."
Like, Vanderbilt's it's a good team. They're well coached. They have an excellent quarterback. Their offensive line seems to be really cohesive. But they don't got the beef like we do.
Right, and C-Dub,
We got
why
animals.
shouldn't he itch for a shutout? Our offense is terrible. They can easily be shut out, especially on the road. Look, I'm not saying the Vanderbilt guy is like the D lineman's wrong. I'm all for a team having that mindset. My thing is the fact that that's the national and it's not a knock against them. It's not a knock against Vanderbilt. It's a knock against LSU. That is the reason why this is an acceptable take, and it's the almost unanimous viewpoint on this game around the country is because of what LSU's put on the field.
Wait, since when has it gone from, okay, we're having some problems on offense to possibly shut out by
When you
Vanderbilt?
haven't solved them through 7 weeks?
But it's not like we've been scoring 6 or something.
No,
we're
I agree.
not big dicking anybody, but shutting us, that's just.
And I don't think that's the national media's thinking shutout, but I think the national
we have
media.
people in the comments saying.
Right. I think the national media is expecting Vanderbilt to win rather handily.
Comfortably.
Like-
And this is what I was talking about when you just go through a
Yeah,
box
when you look
score.
at that, what's impressive about that?
The other side of where all the W's are. 10 points, 7 points, 10 points, 10 points, 24 against the number 4 team in the country. If you want to paint it that picture, 10 points. People are forgetting about one side of the football right now.
Right.
And it's because, if you're a sports gambler or somebody that's looking at lines, and that's why I think the money is the way that it is, and people are judging LSU so harshly, is because you scored 23, you scored 17 against a terrible Clemson team.
Right.
23 against who's Louisiana Tech. You barely beat Florida, who's garbage, 20-10.
Through 5 games.
I don't even know where
5 times.
Southeastern Louisiana is. You lose to Ole Miss, and you can't score more than 20 against the worst defense in the SEC. And then you can't even get up at home, and it's 20-10, and nobody's there. I can see how you could paint the picture.
No, 100%. That's what I'm saying, and that's the embarrassing part is that I see the vision of why the picture's painted that way, and it makes Saturday that much more important that LSU makes a statement because right now it's embarrassing on the national stage. Look at these percentages. Vandy has a 63.6% win probability. They're projected to score 27-ish points. LSU sits right below
At 20,
20.
where it should be.
27
is wild.
How are they projected to score 27?
Because they've scored consistently throughout the season. And I think that when you look at their schedule, I'm going to pull up the numbers now because I think Alabama held them to 14 in the second, and they didn't score in the second half. They scored 55 against Utah State, 70 against Georgia State, 31 against South Carolina, 44 versus Virginia Tech, and 45 versus Charleston Southern.
Okay, let's be realistic here. Vanderbilt fun story so far.
Yes.
They have not beaten anybody.
No, not yet.
They continually get beat in the big games, right?
They lost to Alabama 30-14.
But they have the lightning in a bottle of last year of beating Alabama, right? And that's what other high did they have? When you go through what they lost to Texas by 3,
Right. They lost to LSU by 10 or whatever it was.
And if you go through
7.
I'm just looking through last year's schedule because they did announce themselves as like a football team, right?
Yeah, but they went 6-6.
Right.
Made a bowl game. And so
What are we doing here?
No, I agree because
this is a little ridiculous.
At some point, the cream's
about
got to
to
rise.
hammer 'em.
At some point, the cream's got to rise to the top, right? Like when you look at it roster for roster, who's the better team?
There's no question.
Like it's not even a conversation.
And I guess it becomes the question you've been asking all along. If LSU puts it all together, and even from this tweet, it's from your same guy, Chris__Landry, and he does the advanced stats, and he goes, LSU not finishing drives is why this looks so lopsided. Finish drives, you win the game. It's not some lopsided matchup.
Right.
The thing is, they're not.
Right.
And it's their fault.
And I'm not saying that we're gonna dogwalk these guys or maybe even win. I think it's a coin flip in terms of who wins the game. But the perception here is out of control. Like, they haven't put it together. We've been a little disappointed in offense, but our defense has been fucking great.
Yeah.
And it's not like we haven't managed to,
we've won.
Move the ball and put up some points. We've been winning games. We've been doing what it takes to win games. And, that's an identity that we should be pretty familiar with as it was what we did for the majority
15 years
of the Les Miles era, was win these sort of games, honestly, without putting up these kind of defensive numbers.
Right.
Like, I know it's not pretty. It's not what we wanted because last year Nuss was, slinging the goddamn ball and we were scoring 30. We scoring 30 but giving up 30. But it doesn't matter. Like, we're still finding ways to win.
Right.
So writing us off like we're going to get fucking shut out.
Yeah, or even having
or that there's just no chance, or the Vanderbilt's going to score the most points that we've given up. We've given up 71 points through 7 games or whatever, 6 games.
Right.
And we're just going to get 20. That's like the mathematical average. What they think? Fuck that. No. I mean, this is silly. I'm not even saying that we're definitely going to win, but
no, I agree.
This is absurd.
And the line being at 2.5 shows that it's
not 10.
It's not. This isn't going to be a
touchdown
shelling
game
of LSU, but this is the most obvious I can remember, I think, in the Brian Kelly era of a chip on your shoulder game.
Yeah.
Is there another game in the last, since Kelly got here, where it was a more obvious, like, you've got a chip on your shoulder going into this football game? Like, you've got something to prove almost going into this game?
Every week 1.
Always, right? I think Clemson probably the close, because that was the biggest one. But this is the biggest, all the bullying tool. This is the opportunity right now for the 2025 LSU, this era of LSU under Brian Kelly, to go into a football game with a chip on their shoulder and make a statement and prove a point. And I'm not saying that they're going to do it. When I look at this game, I think if the LSU offense can finish a couple drives and carry over what they did against South Carolina, 1,000% they can. That comes down to if I see Garrett Nussmeier healthy again on Saturday. And we've said it. Lloyd said it consistently. We said it yesterday. You got to see it 2 times in a row, 2 games in a row. I think the LSU defense is going to cause problems like I do every week and like they do every week. They've caused problems for how many Heisman hopeful quarterbacks so far through the season? They caused problems for Cade Klubnik, week 1. DJ Lagway, week 3. Lenore Sellers, last week. They consistently cause issues, and they've allowed those 3 quarterbacks, those 3 Heisman hopeful first-round pick quarterbacks, preseason expectations, they've held them to 10 points, each of them. The only offense that scored more than 10 is a Lane Kiffin-led offense. And you anticipated that coming. And so at this point right now, this is an opportunity for LSU to go into Nashville and prove a point, which I almost can't believe I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like that the expectation is to go into Vanderbilt and make a statement. And that's not a knock against Vandy. It's just who they've always been. They're a very good football team. They're a very physical football team. They are an impressive football team. LSU should never get out-physicaled by Vanderbilt. Ever.
And I don't think you will on the defensive side.
No,
when I
LSU
think
has never been.
out-physical,
Right.
I think
The
the
offensive
offensive
side.
line, the offensive line being able to absolutely take it to you at rep after rep after rep. Like they're getting, this is an unfair fight. LSU on the defensive side, it's even without a Bernard Gooden, and hopefully you have a Whit Weeks, because as much as we're saying, like, looking at this historically, you do have to start to look at this, like, realistically with a Nussmeier you haven't seen put it together back-to-back weeks. Speaking of weeks, you have your middle linebacker is on the injury report, and through all of Brian Kelly's tenure when he's had to do this, you can't read into it anything of what he says, because he's a go, and then it's doubtful. Like Aaron Anderson last week, like, he never really told you the truth until it was time to tell the truth, which I'm fine with. Like, you don't want to put out these injury reports. You don't want people to know. But whenever, in my mind, if you're probable, you're doubtful. If you're doubtful, you're out.
Right.
That's how I read it. If you're questionable, you're out. Like, unless it goes.
Well, yeah, everything is a rung lower. If you're doubtful, you're out. If you're probable, you're questionable. If you're questionable, you're doubtful.
And if you're doubtful, you're like, yeah.
Right.
So that's how I look at it. So with these guys being listed, I don't expect Bernard Gooden to play at all.
Right.
I am curious about Whit Weeks, and if that's the case, who do you go to next? Is it Devon Keys? Is it Tyler Singleton? Is it the youngest Weeks?
Right.
But with all of that, like, we start looking at all of this in totality, your offensive line is not very good. Like, LSU has its holes, and it's like this narrative that we're both, like, I can see the structure and what you want to paint it because of the historical insignificance of Vanderbilt, but LSU has its flaws as well.
100%.
And that's
I'm not.
Yeah, no, but I think it's funny that it's this opponent where it's like you're still having to. Me too.
You have
like
to
wrap
shift
your mind
mindset
around like
Right.
I can't believe I'm saying this. Like, and then you take another step back. You go, well, Vanderbilt hasn't really done anything. It's
Right.
been a fun story. They won 6 games. You beat them last year. 24-17, like LSU's defense was not what it is right now.
Right.
And you're playing the same Vanderbilt team. Like, they're bringing back their quarterback. Pavia threw for 165 yards against LSU last year.
And most of it was on one play.
Right.
The first play of the game, they scored that big explosive touchdown.
And so that's where I look at it and go, okay, the defense is markedly better.
Right.
Obviously, the offense feels like it's taken a step back. But as improved as you are on the defensive side, like, it feels like I don't think of Vanderbilt as it's a rung below even Ole Miss as far as home field advantage.
100%. And I think that when I look at the game on Saturday,
Like, there's no talk of, oh, man, like, we're pumping in crowd noise.
well, the biggest thing about Vanderbilt is the style in which they play football. Like, when I'm saying, like, the physicality aspect, they want to out-physical you. Like,
Yeah, they want to break your will.
like, that is their whole goal. Like, they are not, just because the LSU defense bucks back and, like, doesn't give up, they're not going to stop running the football. They're not going to stop running the triple option, speed option, end around, jet sweep, quarterback power, RPO power, that. They're going to do all of those movements and handoffs and pitches. And
That's their
flicks,
identity.
and that's who they are. And they bet on being able to be more physical. And they're going to come out and, like, they're going to be an inspired football team on Saturday. They're not going to be an easy team to beat. And I know that I can get caught up in the historical standing of who Vanderbilt has been. But at the same time, just look at the rosters. Just be like Vanderbilt has, as much as they've been a cool story and they competed. Like, I liked the way they played in that first half against Bama. Bama controlled that game in the second half. They didn't allow Vandy to score a point. And they played well against South Carolina. Lenore Sellers didn't finish that game. They haven't, like, they dominated against Virginia Tech. They haven't done anything all that impressive. What's impressive is the fact that it's Vanderbilt doing it. Mm-hmm. And the biggest concern is they have an identity, and they're going to commit to that identity. They're not going to break the mold against LSU. And this is LSU's opportunity to change the narrative of, no, this is not who LSU is now. LSU's not this team that's only number 10 in the country because of their logo. LSU's not just top 10 because of their SEC. LSU's one of the 10 best teams in the country. This is the opportunity to prove that. Andrew Messina, are we trying to convince ourselves that we are going to beat Vandy? Come on, it's going to be a rout, and then game day will be in BR next week. No, I hope so.
But you talked about Vanderbilt, like having what LSU is searching for offensively, Vanderbilt has. They have an identity in what they want to do on the offensive side of the football, right?
Yep.
Like they know the game plan. It's going to go through Pavia. They're going to run their triple option schemes. All of that. They have what seems like an identity on the offensive side. That can be to your detriment because if you believe in it and like we're going to out physical you and that's just who we are because my head coach was a fullback at Vanderbilt, run my head into the wall until the concrete breaks. It's going to be me or you, brother. And then you do that against a more talented team. I'll give you the second half against Alabama. Third quarter, 4 plays, 20 yards, punt. Next possession, 3 plays, 6 yards, punt. Fourth quarter, 6 plays, 58 yards, pick. Next possession, 12 plays, 14 yards, turnover on downs. End of game. You ran 25 plays because of your identity.
Right. No, I agree.
Once you run into a more skilled, like LSU has the better players.
Yes.
And if you're going to do that, you have a coach, Blake Baker, who has very much, it feels like the pulse of this team and what he wants to do defensively.
Right.
If you're going to line up and do it that way and you're going to say it's good on good, this is who I am and this is who you are, I could see LSU also, they've given up, 10 points in the second half all year?
Something like that, yeah.
It's time to get angry.
This is the game to go in with a chip on your shoulder.
What's crazy is the over-under is 48.5.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It could have been 24, and I still would look at the under.
I would still give it
maybe. Buy it down.
Yeah.
One question I do have.
Yeah.
When is the last time that we did fuck somebody up on an 11 a.m. kickoff? Can y'all remember?
Oh, Vanderbilt in 2019 for sure. I was there.
I'm trying to think. Mississippi State 2023.
Here we go.
Was 11 a.m.
I love you guys.
They told the story about practicing in the parking lot going on the way to to Starkville. Malik has 13 catches, 100-something yards. He caught that one over the shoulder. Should have been a touchdown. What 11 a.m. games did they play last year? I mean, they played South Carolina at 11 a.m. last season.
That would not be.
But that was not a shellacking.
No.
I'm trying to think. 11 a.m. against Florida, 2021. Ty Davis Price, GT counter.
Yes.
Ed Ingram and Jack Smashburn was at 11 a.m. LSU got shellacked 11 a.m. 2022 against Tennessee. But, yeah, I would say 2023 Mississippi State's probably the last time I remember LSU 11 a.m. kickoff going on the road and doing the spanking.
I love that. That was excellent.
Because last season, I think the only 11 a.m. was South Carolina.
South Carolina. No, not a spanking.
It was not a spanking. This season, this is the first 11 a.m.
But historically under BK, I feel like they've done well with 11 a.m.
Have.
It's like they haven't looked.
Missouri was an 11 a.m. kick in 23.
Yeah, well, that was a slow starter.
But still, won the football game. Shout out to Jaden Daniels. That's when I truly fell in love with him, was that football game. I loved him before, but watching him crawl through that end zone after that touchdown, I was like...
And then go back and play.
That just melted my heart.
And that was so... Drinkwitz, kiss my piss.
Yeah.
Going for 2. It's like, we know. Stop that. Stop. God damn it. And then I think it did kind of light a fire under the offense a little bit to be like, all right, you want to play this game? We can go for 2 also. We're just going to have to outscore you.
Right.
And then you get down 15-0, and then Harold Perkins gets the pick, and then it's game on, boys.
Yeah.
You literally needed one turnover that year in every game, and then you would have won a national championship.
Yeah, it had to be. What was our word? Opportunistic was the word we used.
Yeah, that is so child. That's like, I'm a good test taker. It's like, It sounds like you didn't study.
Sounds like you're not going to
Sounds like you're not going to go great for you.
But yeah, I just think this is such an easy opportunity for LSU to go in with a chip on the shoulder. And this is, and tell me if I'm wrong, maybe the knock against Brian Kelly is that he can't get teams to that mindset, maybe?
I don't know. Yeah.
That he struggles.
Someone's too professional.
You know what I mean? Like, he's not a rah-rah guy.
Right.
Like, he's not Coach O.
I would not, exactly,
set the jaw before a game. Like,
there's nothing Brian Kelly could say that would inspire me before a football game.
But this is an obvious opportunity for, like...
I don't need him to do that, though.
No, I'm not saying, but like I'm not saying
question.
like Brian Kelly, like specifically. I need to see a video of him pregame.
I don't want to see ever.
I'm talking Brian Kelly led program. I think that's been some of the knocks. Has been they don't create that edge.
Yeah, for sure.
And this is the game where like
Tommy Moffitt game.
you should have a little bit of an edge going into Vandy as an underdog when the whole country thinks that they're going to win handily.
I can't wait for the college game day graphics. It's going to hit like crack when it's Vandy, and then a Pat will probably go the other way and go LSU. But I think they'll, maybe, probably.
It'll be everyone go Vandy except for Nick Saban.
Yeah.
I'll call it right now. Nick is going to say...
Thank you. Yeah, he still believes.
It pulls his heart. He's like,
It's disgusting what he did at Alabama.
It is.
They were diddling him. And he was taking it, too. It was consensual, which was the worst part.
It was.
And we'll see what happens if LSU's able to win, A&M's able to win, and Nick Saban comes back to Baton Rouge, and it's not against Alabama, and it's not a rainy...
Right.
In the quad. Like, get an actual... Like, this is what I remember.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, set your nuts.
Uh-huh.
You got to squeeze them.
You got two of them down there, boy.
Squeeze them. I'm squeezing them, coach.
Squeeze them, coach.
But really, when it comes, like, I do think when it talks about, like, the national thing, we talk about game day and what they're going to pick.
Right.
It feels like if Vanderbilt wins, it's this coup de grace and, like, come to where it's a statement.
It's an announcement to the country that
And if LSU...
It's proving that Alabama last season wasn't a fluke.
And if LSU wins, that's how you do and keep it moving.
That's what they should be doing. And it's almost...
But if LSU loses, it's what happened to LSU.
Oh, the fall off, the disgrace they
The worst
are.
loss in the Brian Kelly era?
Is it? Question mark?
You
question
saw
mark?
James Franklin leave. My good friend.
And that's the other thing, is that will stir all of that conversation.
Oh,
there is so much...
Take him.
On this game, you know what I mean? Like
leave Blake alone.
And on top of that, if you go in the Vandy route to the college football playoff, I'll put the link in the document. Vandy put out their route to the college football playoff, which sound like, once again, looking at Vanderbilt through the historic lens, sounds crazy to say. What is Vanderbilt's route to the college football playoff? I have no idea. Well, right now, they put the graphic together themselves, and they're at 5 wins. They have it listed at 9 wins to get in, which maybe, I think it's 10, but 9, and it's a must-win this Saturday against LSU. A must-win against LSU on Saturday. They need to split Mizzou and Texas. They need to split Auburn and Tennessee and beat Kentucky. And so that would lead to 9 wins for them. But LSU is listed as a must-win.
You're not getting in with this.
Do what?
They're not. It's not how you. They're not enough wins.
Yeah, I don't think 9 is enough.
No.
In general, I think
not with
it's
that.
10.
Like their schedule is relatively easy.
Yeah, 9 with that schedule.
Well, go back, pull it back up. I mean, so they'd have a win over LSU. They'd have a win over South Carolina, Virginia Tech. All not that impressive, but they'd have those. They'd have a win over either Missouri or Texas. It's up to you if you think that's impressive. They had a win over either Auburn or Tennessee and a loss to Kentucky. I mean, and a win over Kentucky.
You should beat Kentucky.
You should beat Kentucky. And that's the biggest reason I put this up, is because they're grouping LSU in the same realm as Kentucky you've got to go win this game.
Yeah.
Like, this is one where they don't see it as a potential loss.
I think this is one that you absolutely have to get. I guess is kind of how I'm looking at it. But I still don't. I mean, LSU is under the. If you made this road to the playoffs graphic for LSU, it would be go undefeated in the month of October.
I made one. That's the other graphic in there.
Oh, there's 2 in here. Oh, yeah. And then it would be split.
But I did it under the same guise of 9 wins that one was under. I really feel 10 wins, and the only reason I did it under the guise of 9 is because it makes the graphic look better, because if I did it under 10, it would just look completely different.
Yeah.
Because I think you're about to give the same sentiment that I was thinking. Landon Barone, did y'all go over the Vandy injury report? No. We talked about LSU's injury report. We haven't talked about Vandy's injury report yet. Krim M, BK is known for choking in must-win games. Here is LSU's road to the 9-win college football playoff. I think it's 10, but here is what I put. Obviously, must win Western Kentucky.
Going graphic for
Arkansas.
graphic.
You should win that. Those 2 games are layups. That they're must wins. You should win against one of the 2 between Vandy and A&M. Truly, in my opinion, must win should take all 4 of those must win and should win games. You should win all 4 of those. Mm-hmm. Like those are essentially, if you want to make the college football playoff, you must win against Arkansas at home, Western Kentucky at home, A&M at home. That's why A&M is in that category because they're at home, and then Vanderbilt on the road, and then you just have to go 1 of 2 against Alabama and Oklahoma. Like that's since the loss to Ole Miss, that's been the mindset.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Where go through October undefeated, get the gimmies against Arkansas and Western Kentucky in November. And then you split those 2 road contests against 2 teams that have played really good football. But the thing is, it's any given Saturday. Oklahoma just dropped to Texas. Mateer doesn't look all that healthy. We'll see what he looks like going over time. You can win both of the anything can happen. But this was just, in my eyes,
this is the most logical
division approach. If LSU's to get to 9 wins, I think LSU needs to get to 10 wins. So I would say LSU needs to win Arkansas, Western Kentucky, Vandy, A&M.
Go 4-0 and then 1-2.
1-2.
5-1 in your next 6.
That's the route. That's how you get to the CFP if you're LSU. And
those are all going to be very stressful games.
Oh yeah.
And that's the.
But I want that. Like you're getting to the point. Like that's why this Vanderbilt probably we're building it up because. If you lose to Vanderbilt, if you lose to Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt, like you were able to take care of business for South Carolina, and it could have, like we've all been saying, everybody's been saying, like could have been worse.
Should have been worse.
Yeah, like you kind of like, okay, almost put it together. If you lose to Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt, it feels like it's a momentous step backwards, and then you start looking at the schedule and you look at this, and it becomes.
Well, then it becomes you have to win everything in front of you.
You have to win every game.
You have to win out. You have to
can't be 9-3 with a loss to Vanderbilt. I'm not even going to group Ole Miss in there because I think they're good. Like I think that's becoming it's more palatable of a loss at this point than I think before the year. And even when we went through the schedule before the season started, which one did we circle first?
Ole Miss, Alabama, Oklahoma were the 3 games that were circled, and A&M has obviously turned out to be a pretty good football team up to this point. They play Arkansas this weekend.
And so we even went through this, and we said, like we did best case scenario, worst case scenario. We said 0-1 against Clemson, 1-1, 1-2, 2-2, 2-3, and then you were going, is it 2-4 or 3-3? Right. And LSU up to this point,
it's 5-1.
Yeah, and then you did most like reasonable scenario. It was probably going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5-1.
It's funny though that all of our losses, all of our wins, look worse, but our loss is the one thing that has actually aged better.
Yeah, so far. You're right because you go through the wins like Clemson's trash, Florida's trash, like South Carolina not as good as we thought.
It's like just because we beat them,
all of our wins get knocked down a peg, and our loss is like. Well, I mean, Ole Miss is actually.
I do think
we lost by 5 after playing a poor game, on the road.
Right.
You gave up 24. Like
played bad,
good, really.
You played bad.
That was your worst game of the year.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's taking away.
So we talked about it for 2
pick
weeks.
6 that was not pass interference. I'll stand by that.
Yeah, you forget about that.
And changes the game completely.
But you also played. You played bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just the psychology around these things.
But and on top of that, you're about to find a whole lot about Ole Miss. In 2 days.
I mean, you found out a little bit more about them last week.
They got squeak by Wazoo.
But that's the difference between good teams and bad teams and playoff teams and like bad teams lose those games.
Right.
And Ole Miss of old has been in those spots and lost.
And Ole Miss has a huge opportunity in front of them on Saturday.
But it's also why I'm not completely freaking out about the fact that we haven't looked really good in a game yet. We have one side of the ball, and we've won those games. Winning those games counts.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if you did it pretty, whatever. We have had great seasons where we didn't win a lot of pretty games, but we're fucking winning.
Yeah, and then that's kind of the. I guess you have to look at it both ways because if LSU does lose, then you're like they've never really showed me anything that I should believe.
That's the thing is that we've seen this scenario before, right? They go through, they win a certain way, and then you look at Ole Miss and you're like, they're not going to be able like this. All we were saying through week 1, 2, and 3, and 4 even was that this is not sustainable. This way of winning is not sustainable, and it came to a head against Ole Miss, and you saw it right there, point blank. It didn't work. It was not sustainable against Ole Miss in Oxford. And so now you change your tune a little bit and you go win the same way against South Carolina, after 2 weeks. And the conversation is winning like that is not going to be sustainable against Vanderbilt. And I don't know if it will be. I think the defense is going to go out and put together a really good performance once again. I think the offense is moving in the right direction. But like we've said, I have to see that again. It just comes down to, is winning like that sustainable? And it's not, right? Like, winning like that is not sustainable. We saw it against Ole Miss.
With that graphic you just put up.
Right. It's not sustainable.
There's no fucking way you win those games.
No. The route to the college football playoff, we threw up that graphic. It doesn't really have anything to do with the opponents. That's the craziest part. So it doesn't matter who's lined up across. What matters is if can LSU put it together. And that's the position where they're at. And so you're looking at the game against Vanderbilt as this is one that if LSU is who they say they are, they need to go out and handle business.
100%.
And I'm really intrigued because once again, against South Carolina, like I saw the flashes and the good things and I felt better about what I saw, but at the same time, I saw a team that still made mistakes and shot themselves in the foot. And if you can right a couple of those wrongs and you can move in the right direction a little bit more, and that's what I'm hoping is going into this week, is that LSU's doing the things to take those steps so that it is a better performance against Vanderbilt. Because I think if what you're hoping for is the passing attack to be crisper like it was, Nussmeier it really comes down to if he continues to look healthy, and then going into a game against a Vanderbilt pass defense that is really not that good from a numbers and analytical standpoint, this is the game to open that up and to flex your muscle in that realm.
But they don't have guys that can hang with the speed we have. I don't think.
Right, and that's the position of.
But
you've got the cream's got to rise to the top, but at the same time,
he ain't been putting the ball on the dimes that he needs to.
Right, you've got to put him in the right spot.
But I don't know. I guess my point is just I don't think things are quite as bad as we beat ourselves up and say that they are right now. It could be now if we come out and nothing has changed again, right? And this team that's like an inferior roster beats us in Vanderbilt, then fuck it, probably time to panic. But
because I like as much as I like Ole Miss, and I think their roster's not up to the standard that LSU's is.
No,
like from any standpoint, like they've got good skill position guys. That Chambliss looked good, and they've got some talent.
It was the fact that Ole Miss you knew what their weakness was and you couldn't expose it. So that makes your weakness is weaker than their weakness, right? Where it becomes like you can't exploit the one thing that you should be able to do. It's like you can't do it. And it's like, so as bad as Ole Miss is in the being able to stop a run game, it was an eye-opening experience. Like LSU can't run the football. And I think that's what everybody is still pointing back to and goes,
it was a stoppable force versus a movable object.
And and you couldn't move.
And your force was stopped.
By something that's not good.
By something that's movable.
And I still, like, we've said this, but I don't even, well, I'm about to say it. Like, LSU obviously hasn't played its best game yet. But I think you're almost closer to the panic part because of what you've seen as opposed to continuing to be like, oh, you're almost there. Like, we're almost grasping at straws a little bit with the South Carolina to be, hey, it was this close to being 42-10. It's like,
why wasn't it?
Right, and then I've heard Matt Flynn say this, and he was like, when offenses are struggling, you find ways to make yourself struggle. You make it harder for yourself. Like, you go out of your way to kind of shoot yourself in the foot, and that's what LSU's offense has done. And you watch LSU versus South Carolina, and I was in this, like, I saw some signs of market improvement, but it doesn't mean it was improved, and that's LSU coming off of a bye.
Right.
I don't know how much people are giving Vanderbilt or enough stock is being put into Vanderbilt having a bye before, because you look at this injury report, it's a lot of guys.
Yeah, but I went through and looked at.
I'm not too worried about Drew Dickey.
Yeah, and so did Landon Barone in the chat. The only one that is a player, I think, is one of the D linemen that are questionable. Everybody else is kind of
expendable.
Yeah, essentially. And so, because I agree with your point of, if LSU wins this football game, it really doesn't
do anything.
But if you lose, that's what I'm saying. You are closer to the panic side, because if you lose it, it all crumbles and falls apart.
Yeah.
If you win it, it's just
1-0.
Right.
Check another box.
Got away with it.
Right. Which I think is guess it's a good thing. Where people like almost like it's because I don't. It's just such a weird spot to be in. Where
Right.
nationally, everybody expects like Vanderbilt's the sexy pick, but if LSU wins, it's like okay, keep it moving. As opposed to at some point, are you going to respect LSU in any manner whatsoever?
Right.
Because like you said, the best thing they've done is lose.
Yeah, and this is a lose-lose game perception wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean,
It'll be in the ticker, and that's it.
Yes, this isn't going to be like. But if LSU goes out there and they dominate, I think it will change the tone around LSU a tad. Like it's not going to be like
More so for probably Baton Rouge.
right, definitely around here, less than the national. And I don't really care about the national media's perspective all that much. I was surprised how strongly they feel about Vanderbilt. I more so care about what the energy is around here because this, not to say that's what matters, but like essentially what matters. Mm-hmm. People that are here are the ones that pay for the tickets and donate to the cause and this, that. Like people in Baton Rouge are the ones that are
And bring the energy against the
right. Like
stadium,
that's who I care about. I don't care what Joel Klatt has to say or anyone on the national perspective. I care about what the people in Baton Rouge say. I care what the people on Twitter have to say. Like as much as it can be kind of this nasty underbelly of the fan base, it's the fan base. I saw on Twitter, on social media, the call to arms and people posting their receipts of their donating to the Bayou whatever tradition and spending money. That's what I saw, so I care what they think, and I think if LSU goes out in there and win handily, then the perception will shift a tad. Krim M asked a question in the chat. If LSU does lose, do y'all think they could win out?
No.
That's tough because I think if LSU loses to Vanderbilt, who they undoubtedly have the better roster than, that means there are some really big issues. And not a lot of time to fix it because the next game will be at home against an A&M team that has a better roster, is more talented, and is a better team than Vanderbilt. So it would be very difficult to solve all the issues that would come to rise in a loss to Vandy to win against A&M.
I mean, if you look at A&M, Bama, and
Right.
Oklahoma,
Right.
no. If this team loses,
If
Vanderbilt,
LSU loses to Vanderbilt, not just on
looking-
paper loss, what it would take for LSU to lose on Saturday would be a lot of issues that have not been solved if LSU loses in that football game. And you would also you'd be 0-2 in the league on the road, and you would have to go out and beat two better teams than the two you've already lost to in Alabama and Oklahoma on the road in the league.
yeah,
It's tough.
I mean,
it's tough.
You can never just say no, but I would strongly say.
And so I would if LSU loses on Saturday, no, I don't think they win out. It would be extremely hard for me to get to that line of thinking that LSU can lose to Vanderbilt on Saturday, which would essentially mean they have a lot of issues they haven't fixed, and that they would solve those prior to A&M to get a win there, and then you have a bye week before Bama figured out there, and then you've got some other
Yeah, I just don't know what would.
Right. I don't know how you could solve it
to do that.
But what you need to see is progression, and progression here is a win on the road against a conference opponent. Because I want to see that. I didn't see it against Ole Miss. I didn't see progression against Ole Miss. You saw progression against South Carolina, but once again, that was at home, and home field does play a factor. Brian Burgess in the chat. If LSU loses on Saturday, the dam of losses might break. It's an eerily similar spot to where LSU was against A&M last season, where you saw the crumble happen. I think you could see something eerily similar. Does LSU lose on Saturday? But, like BD says, once LSU stops Pavia, the game's over with. He's their leading rusher. As much as we said, Vandy has an identity. Their identity's number 2. Everything goes through him. Everything has to involve him, whether it's the end arounds, the shovel pitch, all these things. Everything is Pavia. If Blake Baker does what I expect him to do and create issues for Pavia, you're in a real good spot to win that football game.
Is Pavia better than Chambliss?
No.
Pavia is very good, and I think they're similar. I think Chambliss benefits from having Lane Kiffin as his coach and his play caller. Because I do think Pavia is actually a really good college football quarterback. And I would actually say Pavia can be more dangerous in a way than Chambliss. But I think it's easier to scheme Pavia out of it than it was Chambliss. And I think that also has to do, like, taking into account factors, the offensive coordinator and the play caller and
the supporting,
Lane.
cast.
Right. And so
a step up. I was just curious what
Charlie Harper
your thoughts off the top.
Agree, stop Pavia rush. We are good. He also says Nuss INTs are an X factor. 100%. You got to take care of the football. Don't forget, every single day we are brought to you by AJ Sports Cards right there on Drusilla Lane. AJ Sports Cards, 3348 Drusilla Lane, Suite 11C is the location of AJ Sports Cards here in Baton Rouge. They have already pulled cards. They've got football, basketball, baseball, Pokemon, anything, college, NBA, MLB, whatever you want, they've got there, I promise, right there on Drusilla Lane. And you can also stay up to date on everything they've got going on, whether it's hobby boxes, retail, graded cards, singles, Pokemon, and supplies. Stay up to date with their Facebook page. AJ Sports Cards is the name. And on Instagram, at AJ Sports Cards 225BR is where you can find them. Go check them out. They've supported us since day one here at Tingle & Co. Make sure you let them know how much you appreciate it. We will take a quick break here as we've rolled right through into hour number 2. I'll be right back after this.
Wardos was created in honor of Alan Ward Branning III, fondly known by family and friends as Wardo. In 2019, the oldest brother of the tribe passed away unexpectedly. His remaining siblings and loved ones wanted to honor his memory in a special way. In 2022, Ward's family decided to combine the need for a sandwich shop in downtown Natchez with a desire to pay tribute to Ward's love of good friends, good times, and great food. Through blood, sweat, tears, and countless hours of hard work, Wardo's was born. So go visit Wardo's today at 309 North Broadway Street in Natchez, where the po' boys are so good, you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
Hey, Miss Lou, come visit us, Tom and Wright Granning at Go Martin on the Go Deli.
Go Martin has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need.
Located at the corner of Highland Boulevard and Highway 61 South in Natchez.
Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff,
where everyone is family.
When it comes to your home, the roof over your head matters. At CAS Roofing, we don't just install shingles, we build peace of mind. With years of experience and a commitment to craftsmanship, our team shows up on time, gets the job done right, and treats every project like it's our own home. Whether it's repair, a replacement, or storm damage that caught you off guard, CAS Roofing is ready. We're local, we're dependable, and we stand behind every nail, every shingle, and every promise we make. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about roofing, it's about protecting what matters most. CAS Roofing, built on trust, backed by quality.
All right, welcome back here as we have rolled into hour number 2. Lloyd, I want to open it up with that stat you just threw at me, that number, that record that you threw at me right there at the end of the break.
Well,
There it is.
Brian Kelly's. We were talking in the break because we were going kind of through. Has Brian Kelly kind of done what you've expected at LSU? Whether it be when it
In
gets
chat, feel free to answer that.
yeah, when it comes to games like this where it feels like a marquee matchup or a ranked opponent, and that's eventually where we settle on. Like, what is his record against ranked opponents? Brian Kelly is 5-9 at LSU against ranked opponents.
5-9, and I'm trying to
Because it feels like, because I was asking what's his worst loss in the, I guess in the BK era for LSU, and we went through them. It's like, well, these are all games that contender pretenders type scenarios where it's not like you have a Troy loss or something where somebody snuck up and bit you. It's been teams that are respectable that you would either on the road went to their house and lost and played competitively. The only blowout really is Georgia in the SEC championship. It was never really competitive,
Right,
and then
right.
Tennessee, right, and then I guess you could say the Florida State game, the second go round. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't over until it was over. Like it was competitive up until
First
a point.
half was competitive. Second
Right.
half was
Tennessee you didn't get off the bus.
No, never had a chance. Alabama last year, you never had a chance.
And that's probably one that was, when you say like disappointing, when you have the opportunity to go be able to do something, it's been Alabama again that has kind of sets you back in terms of what your goals were for LSU. And then the one time you did beat them, look at where it got you.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there have been games where, like, I think 2022 Tennessee, going into that game, like, it was earlier in the year. I think it was, October 9th, maybe. It was earlier in the year. You had, in that season you had beaten, you lost the Florida State game 1 in an ugly loss where you missed the field goal at the end. You should have won that game. You beat Southern. I think you beat Mississippi State in Tiger Stadium at a night game. Maybe there's another game between that, maybe New Mexico as well. And then you lose to Tennessee, and like Lloyd said, you never got off the bus. And so that was a somewhat embarrassing loss because it felt like that was going to be an opportunity. And I think when we went back and watched the film with Caskey and Rowe after that game, what made it more embarrassing was the opportunities were there. Mm-hmm. That was the pinnacle of JD doesn't let the ball go. Like, Jaden won't throw it. That was the pinnacle of that aspect. So that game was rough. But a lot of the games in 22 I'll give a little bit of some leeway on because that was just a team that was thrown together, and they ended up putting – like the Texas A&M loss in 22, I don't give a lot of leeway to because that game was embarrassing. Like, you should have – you had everything right in front of you. You were number 5. You had just won against Bama and Arkansas. If you win that game, you're a top 5 team going into the SEC championship. And, like, you still had a shot at a playoff.
You could almost lose the SEC championship, and you're in that conversation of should you play the game.
Right. And so that was an ugly one. 2023, the Ole Miss game, I think, was an ugly loss because everything just kind of reared its ugly head. Like, the issues you had defensively, that game was essentially the squandering of that team. You didn't really have a chance to make the playoff in 23 after losing to Ole Miss in the route you did where you score 49 points and you lose. That's an embarrassing one.
And this is almost this loss to Ole Miss is almost the antithesis of that, where it reared its ugly head as to you can't run.
Score, right.
Right.
It's the same story, but it's a different
chapter.
Tune. You know what I mean? Like, it's whatever. And then in 2024, the Alabama loss, the A&M loss, those were ugly. Like, USC was kind of an ugly loss because that should have been a 1,000% one. Like, there's been some ugly ones.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, the openers are the ones that definitely kill you.
Yes. And so.
But yeah, the Ole Miss.
When you say 5-9 against ranked opponents, this weekend is a ranked opponent. You have not fared well against ranked opponents. You have not fared well in getting ready and prepared to go play in big-time games besides Clemson 2025, Alabama 2022, Ole Miss 2022. Like, I guess 2022 you kind of got ready for some of the bigger games in that stretch, and where you beat Ole Miss, you beat Alabama, you got ready for Clemson earlier in the year, but you have struggled to find the stride against big ranked, and you're 5-9 against ranked opponents under BK at LSU. And this is an opportunity on Saturday, and that's what adds to the pressure where it's like, go do it. This is the one where you should do it. This will help that record. You'll be 6-9.
4 of your next 6 are against ranked opponents.
Right, like this stretch helps your case. But this is the easiest. I mean, not a diss against Vanderbilt. This is the easiest one. When you look at that stretch, like
That's
this
not
is
a rude thing to say.
This is the one that should be. I put it as a must, basically a must win. You should go win this football game on the road against a team that doesn't have a roster comparable to you. And so it adds a lot of pressure onto this football game. And I think just so many things going on in college football. Like, there's a lot of pressure. Once again, I feel like we're doing the same song and dance we did prior to South Carolina. A different perspective. Like, it's not the same reason there's a lot of pressure on this game. But once again, like, there's a lot of pressure. There's going to be a lot of pressure on every game LSU plays. And the pressure on Saturday is you don't really beat ranked opponents very often. The national media looks at this as Vandy's coming out party and kind of count you out. You are not the favorite on the road against Vanderbilt. It's anticipated that Vanderbilt can out-physical LSU, which, like I said, should never be the case. I don't care if they are a better Vanderbilt. LSU's got the better roster. They got the better players. They should have the better coaching. LSU shouldn't get out-physicaled by Vanderbilt ever. Ever. And I will be very upset if I'm sitting here on Monday talking about how Vanderbilt out-physicaled LSU. That'll be a problem.
Because it's a mindset thing.
That is a mindset. That's about getting on the plane and getting on the bus or whatever and being ready, prepared to not let them punch you in the mouth. Because that's that's who they are. They're trying to punch you in the mouth the second they get on the field. Wolfgang. BK runs a soft program, no physicality. This is the game to prove otherwise. And as much as I think maybe some people will be like, well, it's Vandy, you should out-physical. Yes, 100%. Vandy's going to give you their best shot to punch you in the mouth. You can't let that happen. You absolutely can't.
What is LSU's biggest road win under BK?
The biggest road win, Clemson 2025. Trying to think.
Is that your only ranked win on the road?
Trying to think. 2022, you went on the road and you beat. Who did you win against on the road? You beat Arkansas on the road. Lost to A&M on the road. Beat Ole Miss at home that year. You beat Florida on the road that year. That was the coming out party. That Florida win in 22 on the road. Man, that's tough. South Carolina on the road 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Missouri 2023 was on the road. But you've struggled to go and win against teams on the road. Yeah, they beat Auburn on the road in 22 in the Greg Brooks game. But yeah, Spectrum's right. The defense is very physical. They should be able to the defense has not been out physicaled this season. The offense has, and that's where majority of the conversation lies.
Yeah.
The fact that your offense will get out physicaled, and this is a game where Vandy's going to be physical on both sides of the ball. You got to be ready to answer that call. I did see this tweet on Twitter, though, or X, sorry.
X.
It's the one in the doc I said, next to it. It's Luther Luke Campbell, and it's definitely clickbait, rage bait, whatever you want to call it, where he says, at Uncle Luke Real 1, Luther Luke Campbell, says, let's be real. Miami, Florida, Florida State, Tennessee, Nebraska, Oklahoma, LSU, Colorado, I can keep going. All these programs have been irrelevant for over 25 years, and they're all finding out the same hard truth. It's not easy to get a good coach. When you look at what Lane Kiffin, Mario Cristobal, and Deion Sanders are doing at their programs, they should be the highest paid coaches in college football, most sought after individuals because of what they're doing is unprecedented. Penn State will be next. That program is headed in the same directions, straight downhill. Good program builders and real coaches are hard to find. And look, that last line, good program builders and real coaches are hard to find. Wholeheartedly agree.
Sure.
It's the hardest thing to find besides a starting quarterback in the NFL. There are not many really good program builders and real good coaches that can do both out there. That's why teams, when they find one, they hold on to it. When you get a Nick Saban, you don't let him go. When you get this, that, you hold on to a program builder and a good coach. When they are the both things together, it's as good as it gets.
No.
But the list of Miami, Florida, Florida State, Tennessee, Nebraska, Oklahoma, LSU, Colorado being irrelevant for 25 years. And look, I can go down the list on some of these programs. Nebraska, yes, they've been somewhat irrelevant. Oklahoma has not been. They've got Heisman winners. They've made national championship games. They've made playoffs. Florida State's won national championships. Florida has won multiple national championships. Miami has, fallen off a bit in the later 2000s, but was still good because essentially over the 25 years, you're going back to 2000 as the start point. Colorado, yeah. Really, my concern lies with LSU because if you're going to call LSU irrelevant for the last 25 years, you obviously haven't paid attention because what LSU was before 2000 was not that relevant, and what they've been since 2000 is debatably the second best program in the sport. They've had 3 coaches come in and win national championships within their first 3 years. They've won 3 national championships and played for 4 in that stretch of time. They've also had the greatest college football team ever assembled in that 25-year span, which was also only 6 years ago.
Also, was existing during the same time as Alabama.
Right.
The greatest run in college football
They've
history.
also had 2 Heisman quarterbacks in that span. They had, like I said, 2019, they had the best team ever. They won Coach of the Year, Assistant Coach of the Year, Offensive Line of the Year, DB of the Year, Wide Receiver of the Year, Quarterback. Every award possible LSU won. It was the greatest collection of talent you'll ever witness in your whole entire life. And I don't want to get too far on this because it is obviously rage bait because it's just not legitimate.
Well, it's Uncle Luke from 2 Live Crew, who, of course, is famous for their hit "Me So Horny." So this is kind of what he does. He's a provocateur.
Of course. But I do agree that there are good program builders and real coaches are hard to find. But what I'll say, LSU is almost the antithesis to that. In that 3 coaches have come into this program and have won national championships.
We're talking about the philosopher of booty here, as Neil puts it.
Right.
He's like, go back to sleep, Uncle Luke. It's time for
Well,
bed.
he's also saying that Miami and Colorado are irrelevant, correct? And then he goes on to list their head coaches,
right?
In terms of the 2 that are. So it's just Uncle Luke's he's missing some words. And then also the top comment is it's ludicrous to say something, and he spells it like the rapper's name.
Yeah.
So Uncle Luke.
It's Uncle Luke.
Uncle Luke. That's what the guy does.
Because I went and looked up because I was interested because I'm not the biggest Cristobal fan. And if you remember, after the Georgia Tech game, they were ready to put his head on a spike.
Right.
Because he's like, we don't kneel the ball here. Mario Cristobal team, we don't bend the knee regardless. It's like, well, if you did, you'd win. So what's more important here? Like, that's a bad philosophy as a coach. Mario Cristobal at Miami is 27-16, while Brian Kelly is 29-11.
Look, Mario Cristobal was on the hot seat a year ago.
Right.
They going into the Florida-Miami Week 1 football game. It was dubbed the Hot Seat Bowl.
It was the Hot Seat Bowl.
And speaking of the Hot Seat Bowl, it seems like Billy might be on the way out.
Yeah, I think it's
I've seen. I think David Waters, who covers Florida, said the opposite. Said that it was just one booster they met with, and that booster was just asking, "How can I help?" This, that, or the other. But there's been a lot of murmurs. I think Yahoo Sports is the one that put it out that might be the end of old Billy.
I mean, it's an easy report to write, correct?
Of course.
Where it's like, well, it's their bye week. Let's drum up some Florida news, and
of
it's
course.
like Billy Napier's out this as early as Sunday. Like, damn, you got fired in your bye week. I didn't do anything. Yeah, you get fired on your day off, Craig.
You fired me? I'm not working today.
Well, that's why you're fired.
That's why you're fired. You're supposed to be at the office.
But for some reason that report did not hit as hard as I thought it would, because I don't know how valid it is yet. Now, if it comes out that he's fired, I don't think people will be surprised. But it feels like Strickland is, if he ever has a time when he can, he just got extended, did he not? After the Florida National Championship in basketball. I think so. And so if there was ever a time that he could feel like, I'm no longer attached to Billy Napier in this hire, I can cut ties, it would be now. I don't even know what Billy's buyout is.
I don't know, but what I was saying on the Uncle Luke, the antithesis of that bottom quote, the good coaches, program builders, is that LSU's kind of the antithesis to it, where Les Miles, not really good coach, won a national championship. Coach O, decent coach, but like he wasn't before LSU. And when he kind of got off his rocker at LSU, he wasn't very good either. Both of them have rings on their hands. That then turns into the conversation about Brian Kelly, which is why most people thought maybe this would work. It's actually a good coach at this program that's created winners out of not very good coaches. It's kind of a knock against him that if you can't get the job done here.
Right, hot take, this is the easiest job in America. Ooh. Huh? Who wants to fuck? Let's go.
I mean, wow. It's
Uncle Luke?
I would say, like, prior to NIL, because I think NIL's changed it a lot. I don't know if it's the easiest, but it's one of.
It is one of. That was really. That was
yeah.
Just
was
looking at it, looking at it on paper with the fact that Les came in and won. O came in and won. I mean, it's like, well, neither of them were really very good before they got here. Like, that's why I've always said the program is bigger than whoever you are.
Right.
Because neither of those guys, like you said with Les, he was like 27 and 24. Right. Coach O had been fired from everywhere he'd been before LSU. Like, they weren't very good coaches.
But despite themselves.
But despite that, they came to LSU and they have rings on their hands.
They locked down the state recruiting wise.
It's because there's a blueprint that, thank God for Nicholas Saban, has been laid out where if you recruit this state, you cherry pick a handful of guys from other states. You have this guy coach this position, this guy coach this position, and you use Louisiana. Within 3 or 4 years, you might find your way into a national championship game and win.
Yeah, you might just accidentally have so much talent.
Which is the biggest knock against BK, and it's the reason why when it started and you were going to get the number one player out of Nevada and Minnesota and Maine and Rhode Island and Delaware and Massachusetts, it's like, what are we doing? Why is Polian my recruiting coordinator and it's not Frank Wilson, who might just be the greatest recruiter ever? And so that is the knock against BK, is that what you're saying is somewhat right. And there is the change with NIL and the transfer portal. Like, all that has changed the sport somewhat, and it's harder to build. It's hard to build a program the same way you could then, because like
the methodology
who's
has
to
changed.
say when Patrick Queen got to LSU as a freshman and he sits out his freshman and sophomore season that he doesn't sit his freshman year and go, I can go play as a sophomore somewhere. I'm gonna have to sit behind Devin again. Mm-hmm. Like, who's to say he doesn't say? And that's not a knock against Patrick. I think Patrick Queen loved LSU, wanted to be here. Obviously, he stayed. But the transfer portal changed that. It created that option.
Sure. Somebody flashes a check at him. Doesn't matter how much he likes it here.
Right.
It's like, I go play and get.
It has changed for BK in the fact of when he's taking over LSU, everything has changed. The sport has changed. But if you recruit the state and you have the right coaches and people around the program, you usually are in a pretty good shot. You're in a pretty good place.
You got the funding.
Right.
To be competitive.
You don't have the funding the same that other people do, but
we'll splash the cash. We
just spent $20 million.
Right. And now rev share is here, and it's going to change. But it still comes down to, like, I still believe you get it's still recruit Louisiana. That is still your cheat code is that you are the flagship university. You are when kids grow up, no offense to Tulane or ULL or Nichols or Southeastern or La Tech, any other school in the state, there maybe are some kids that grow up in New Orleans and dream about playing for Tulane. Kids grow up in Louisiana and dream about putting the purple and gold on playing in Death Valley. It's just the case. You are the apex predator in your state, in a state where really good football talent comes out of.
Per capita,
Yes.
probably
The
the
best.
most.
Yes. When you talk about the size of the state, the fact that you are competitive with Texas and Georgia and California and Florida, the fact that Louisiana is in that same conversation is beyond impressive.
It's literally the only thing Louisiana has. Like, that's ranked in, we're bottom 50 of everything. And then it's like,
Football and
football players, like, fuck yeah,
food.
dude.
We're there.
Like, don't you talk about talent.
Don't you dare.
We got athletes.
Well, and the crazy thing about Louisiana is that it is this melting pot of you can go get your offensive lineman from Neville and West Monroe while getting your running back from St. Aug in New Orleans and your
I go up north from a lineman and go down south for my skills.
it's right there.
And then I go to the middle to get blasted and go to football games. Like, it really, this whole state is really just for football and baseball, really. But you think, like, everything circles around
Right.
just sports,
and what's
really.
the-
Like, it's all we have. And that's why people care so much.
Right.
Because we suck at everything else. There's really not, what else are we good at? Like, when people think, when has Louisiana ever listed in anything, like, as if it's not a good time, food, or football.
Or baseball.
Or baseball.
Yeah,
Nothing.
Education.
Well, we don't care. By the
Infrastructure,
way, figure it out.
Just get a flood anyway.
Yeah, right. We'll restart whenever it happens. Like, and then, that's the other thing about Louisiana is, like, throw as much adversity as you want.
Right,
Like,
right.
Get right back up.
And that's what makes the football players different.
Exactly.
Is like half of these football players have
Oh, I ran to school.
like I don't know, I had to swim out of my house one
Yeah,
time.
Harold Perkins.
Like, that's what makes them different. Where it's like a Louisiana 3-star is probably a 5-star in most
Right.
other states.
But it's just funny because you talk about, like, Texas has every reason to be, like,
Right.
on top of the sport. California, like, there should be the USCs of the world. Like, that should exist. Florida, kind of like Louisiana, the way of, like, you can throw a rock at somebody and hit a 5-star.
Right.
And, like, Georgia, all the
But
money.
they're
like,
in competition with Miami and Florida State. and
right.
Florida. Like
LSU doesn't have
Georgia
that
and Alabama.
problem.
Puts LSU in the spotlight.
And
It's like-
Alabama had they're a save for one person. There was no reason for that school to exist. Like, that wouldn't even be like, I remember the days of insert name here that Alabama was a blip on the radar. It's like, all right, I guess I'll go to the game.
Yeah.
It's on Tiger Vision,
Nick.
and he changed that very quickly. It's incredible what he
did.
can do. He's a power player.
He's unbelievable.
Gave us so much.
The next Penn State head coach I'm hearing.
He took so much. away.
I'm getting a call from the newsroom. Nick Saban next Penn State head. Are we serious?
That's what I'm saying. You know how funny that
Are we kidding?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be, but you know that it's set, like, they really are that, like, every school is that delusional.
course.
Like, you go back to Alabama when DeBoer lost the first game of the year to Florida State. It's like, go get Nick back. It's like,
Right.
he's not coaching.
But that's more realistic than him going to
Penn State and LSU did the same thing. Like, maybe he'll come back here.
Still more realistic than Penn State.
He's not building your program again for you.
No.
He has no reason to go up there. Like, that
No.
place, it's, disgusting.
Also, homeboy 74.
Yeah, well, they love a Joe Pa.
You know, it's like just let him be. Just let him be. Like, don't need to put a guy through that.
Like,
No.
he's not going to Penn State. You think Nick Saban, who spent his whole entire life, basically, like now in the South, has grown accustomed to getting on a jet ski or on a boat and swimming in a lake and having a lake house and doing Verbo commercials, wants to move to Pennsylvania?
It would be different maybe if Belichick were still up there.
3 hours outside
Maybe.
of Philadelphia.
Like-
Yeah. We are.
3 long hours. We are.
I mean, he's not going to Penn State.
No, I don't think so.
Who is going to Penn State, Lloyd? Who's Penn State's next head football coach? I have no earthly idea.
I don't have a clue.
But I think we are. I don't know what. This is the confusing part to me because, like I've said, Penn State has never. They've been relevant for a vast majority of reasons, none of which really have to do with football. But like, there's also this contingency that Penn State to them, like a blue blood of college football. I don't. Nationally, that's how it's viewed, though.
Right.
Like you saw it before the year, where it's like they hit you over the head with Penn State.
Right.
And it's like I've never seen them win anything in my entire life, but somehow it's Penn State, baby. And so I think nationally it is viewed as like one of the best jobs in America.
Well, and it's definitely the best job that's going to be open in this cycle.
Florida? Yeah.
I would say it's probably.
But I just don't like. That's what I'm saying. I have no real knowledge of how it got there. But everybody keeps telling me how good of a job it is. Like I guess
say
because
right now it's a good job because it's
Pennsylvania has, it's not bad.
Well, I would say it's to me the reason why it's a good job is because one, you obviously have funding. They just spent $50 million
and I think
to
that's
get rid of
news
their head
to people.
football coach, right?
Well, also that stat is a little misleading. Given like he
has to go get a job.
Of course, but still, I mean, still going
it's
to be a lot of money they're going to pay.
Right.
More than O's. We were flipping out about what $17 million we had to pay O to get him out of here. It's like we paid O that much.
Yeah, everybody got mad at Scott Woodward because like at what
the
world
extension.
When do you not extend it? It happens to every coach
Right.
ever.
And
That's
now
ever
you've
won a
seen
national
Jimbo
championship.
get fired and whatever his name is, Franklin get fired for $100 million combined. But
Jimbo got paid $70 million.
Filthy,
That's
dude.
awesome.
But like I'm saying, with Penn
Also,
State,
very insulting.
very insulting. Like you hate me that
much.
They have the funding, and they're in the Big Ten. We were almost looking at them like they're not going to be that good, but they're going to be a shoe-in for the playoff because they don't have to play anybody. They just go lose to Ohio State once a year and maybe drop another game and you're in.
You lose two. You can lose to Ohio State and Oregon, and you're still fine.
And then
you get. But that's where it's. You asked me who it was, and now like people are like, I don't think Dan Lanning's leave. He feels like Oregon.
He's building that
Why
thing
would
into
you
a
leave
league.
Oregon?
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's
Every resource on earth.
But yeah, and I think Penn State people look at Oregon as like, why would he not? Like they see Penn State as up here, and Oregon's like not a real school. No. It's a Nike thing. And Penn State's like, well, you just dropped Nike for Adidas. You're chasing a check too.
Do you
but
think
I think it's
Lanning,
like,
do you think that Lanning got called for the Bama job? I would be surprised to think that Alabama didn't call Lanning.
I'm sure they did. And yeah, he's not.
There's no way they didn't.
And I don't blame him for being. I don't want to be the next guy. I don't want to be what DeBoer's in because you can't win.
Right.
And like
right.
DeBoer's just now being able to like get people on almost like to neutral. Mm-hmm. It was get this man out my game.
Yeah.
And
Cignetti.
it was why is he wearing it's Cignetti and it's Matt Rule.
The only issue with Cignetti that maybe would hold Penn State back is the timeline. Right now, Indiana seems like, they're a shoe-in for the playoff. They're going to make the playoff.
And Cignetti himself is not so much a do it by the book. When he gets to Penn State, it's going to be like, this is how we do things here. He's going to be like, fuck you. Google me, I win. Like, I'm going to do it. That's why Indiana is perfect for him in smaller schools. Because he gets to go be the program. It's about Cignetti. Like,
but there's not all this historical precedence.
But they're going to. They're going to call Cignetti. They're going to try.
Oh, for sure. But I think I would be hard. It's kind of like Auburn, where it's like, oh, we want X, Y, Z, like big name coach this, and you go get them, and then it's like, but you have to do it like this. Like, this is why you don't fucking win.
Right.
Like, why are you hiring me and telling me how to do my job whenever I was somewhere else? And I did a good enough job to where you wanted to come get me, and I was winning without you. Why do you think I need you to win? Cignetti is very much in that same mindset of why I just made James Madison and Indiana winners. Penn State, if you're to tell me how to do my job, kindly go fuck yourself.
Dillingham?
I thought of him too, but I think Penn State is. I don't think they want to go young. I don't think that they would.
God, it's crazy because he, to me, is like.
And he brings the quarterback with him.
Yeah,
that's what I would do. He's 31.
I'm trying to think who else.
And I think he would say yes. No, he wouldn't.
No,
he's from Arizona State.
Yeah, I think he.
Yeah. Because that is a real thing. Like, if I was the head coach at LSU, I'm not going anywhere.
Are you kidding me? You offer me as much money as you want.
Right. Like, then LSU could offer me $0, and I would stay.
I'm saying here.
Coach O, same thing. Like, he just wouldn't have, he didn't sabotage himself.
I think who else? Brian Kelly?
Yes. I think that's just not me saying Brian Kelly to say Brian. I think that's something that, I don't know if he's interested in it. He says a lot of things, but he's like, this is my last stop. Like, I don't know, and aside from being fired, I don't think he would look for more coach. Even if he does kick the bucket at LSU and they do pony up the money, not this year, I'm just saying the long term. If he wins a national championship this year, I mean, how much longer do you think he coaches? I don't think he makes it to the 10. No. And if he gets fired after a national championship or decides to walk away, I think it's the same two things. I don't think he goes and coaches again.
He wants to be an athletic director.
I think he wants to be done coaching.
Yeah.
Like, very, very much has, like, God damn it, I can't believe. Like, he hates the 10-year contract probably more than we do.
Right. I would say the guy I think it would be Rule. It's just like my safe pick is Matt Rule. Like, even though I truly do think he wants to build something at Nebraska, but he also has been very much like he was building something at Baylor, and Carolina came calling, and he was like,
he's a job hopper.
I'll go take that. I'll go coach in the league.
Yeah.
And then he, obviously got fired, ends up in Nebraska. If this job opens up and they reach out, I mean,
or it'll be some 42-year-old coordinator we don't have any idea who they are.
Or some hot shot.
What, like Blake Baker?
No, he.
I saw that put out, and I was like, he's not going to Penn State.
Matt Rule makes a ton of sense. Penn State alum.
Oh,
I
mean, that's why he couldn't shoot it down. He was like, well, actually, yeah. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Appreciate that, guys.
Do y'all like Dylan Raiola? Yeah. I'll bring him with me and his little brother.
Yeah, Matt Rule's the guy. Penn State alum, he's the guy.
We were just talking about how if you would coach at LSU for $0, I'm sure he feels the same way about Penn State.
Yeah, Matt Rule's the guy. So we appreciate you guys
hanging
out with us this morning. We're going to get into going 13 for 13 here. Athletic Connections, the Daily Dozen. Is BB still in the chat, or are we going to be BB lists?
We might be. What did J.J. Watt say about the red rifle?
What?
The BB gun. Remember whenever you
Shoot
talk about
your eye out?
Andy Dalton, he's like, he said something about it was awful. This is when J.J. Watt was going through it, like trying to struggle with fame and be also popular. He's definitely found himself.
J.J. Watt, red rifle.
Severely annoying for a very
extreme, bad, didn't like him at all. Now he's great.
Yeah, I've come around on him, but he was the worst for a minute.
Our goal was to come out here and make the red rifle look like a Red Ryder BB gun, and I think we did that.
That's the one.
Cool.
The Red Ryder BB gun.
We're BB-less.
You'll shoot your eye out.
C+.
Great movie.
It is. My favorite Christmas movie.
Is it actually?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Seems a little sentimental for you.
I would have put you down as a Griswold.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Or Home Alone because of all the senseless violence.
I do love Home Alone, but I don't consider it a Christmas movie for some reason. I think it's just a good film.
It's a good it's a good piece of cinema.
It's just a good cinema.
It is.
It is a really good movie. The first one is excellent.
Yeah. So it's too good to be a Christmas movie.
I just really would have took it. I would have taken you as a Chevy Chase guy.
Yeah, this is like a more of I think just family thing.
Yeah, sentimental. Yeah. No, I'm with that. Christmas. I mean, it is a really good movie.
Yeah, I'm not big into like holiday things.
Really?
And so I think
what's your favorite Thanksgiving movie?
I do see. I don't have a Thanksgiving movie.
There is. I don't even know if there is.
But
one.
I'm a huge fan. Movie. I'm a huge fan of turkey.
Really?
Yeah, people don't like turkey. Yeah, I get excited for the turkey. People are like, oh, we have to cook.
Well, especially the way your mom cooks.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. You're lucky.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah.
I love it, but everybody, the whole families make. Every mother makes a turkey.
Of course.
Ours is very good. Though.
We have a good turkey as well, but I'm sure your turkey's probably exquisite. I've eaten your mother's cooking, and it's very good.
They say I've eaten your mother's turkey. More than welcome. November 25th.
November 25th. So
doors are wide open.
I'm a big Thanksgiving guy.
Yeah, but
of course, as a child, you love Christmas. You grow up, and I was like, Thanksgiving's really like an awesome holiday.
It might be my favorite holiday.
Like
football.
It's football. You're with your family, getting to
that's give or take.
Hang out. It depends on who your family is.
Right, but also no real obligations.
Right. There's no gifts. There's no.
Right.
Like that was my.
It really
that's
is.
become my least favorite thing about Christmas as I've grown up. Obviously, I love the. Christmas.
You're on the other side of it.
But like now, it's like giving gifts. I love giving gifts, but I hate spending money. My least favorite thing growing up about Christmas was. Oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate this pair of
Trinket.
socks. You know what I mean? Like, I hate putting on the front of like, oh, this is a really great gift.
Yeah, Sean's terrible at that.
Of course he is.
When we do
because
it,
he wears his emotions right here.
Yeah, exactly. And if he gets to sleep, he
oh,
doesn't.
this is so awful.
Yeah, no, but he's like a terrible liar. Like, oh, and you can see it all. It's like, oh, he fucking hates this. And it's like, no, like, Sean, I'm gonna check. Come back in 6 months, and I bet that still has the tag on it.
Well, because now
he's like, no. It's like, yes, we all know. Just tell the truth.
Through high school, I stopped asking for gifts, and I just wanted cash.
Yeah.
So like, but my family like was big on like, we're opening gifts in order, like age order. Like everyone opens their gift like by themselves. Everyone watching just them, and I've always hated that.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I want to do it. Should we all just open our gifts at once, and you go, shake a hand, give a hug after. And so, like, it'd always be like, oh, the little cousins, the little kids are all opening, oh, they're big gifts, whatever. And I'm just like, thanks for the money. Envelope. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, envelope. Like, yeah, cool. That is actually, I mean, I can get whatever I want now. Nobody had to think.
No, that's why I always ask for it. Like, just give me the cash. I'm just going to pay for my life. But
yeah. But I guess there is the thrill of, like,
being a kid.
Now, yeah, the kid, I mean, that's what makes it the best holiday for a child. They're, like, what, I guess from like 7 to 12. Like,
yeah,
because you get all the cool, like you can ask for like the moon.
Yeah, like 5 to 13 to me, like that age range. Once you get into high school, it's like
you can't really ask for an Xbox.
Yeah, well, you probably already have one.
But the new one,
right?
And you're like, I do want it.
Yeah.
But I actually really, I'm too old to ask for this.
I really like that.
Yeah.
So I actually really want that.
Yeah, and it's like, you're not getting that. It's like, and that's when you start getting, like, pants and fucking socks.
Which,
and, like, collared shirts. Like,
now,
I'm not going to wear any of this.
Well, like, now I appreciate those gifts. Like, thank you for the socks.
Yeah.
Like, I actually needed a couple new pairs.
Right, that is true.
Like now,
but you can also buy your own socks.
Right.
But that, yeah. I steal them.
Of course. Let's go. Let's do.
They never see it coming.
Athletic connections. No, because you're putting them on your feet.
Exactly. It's a perfect crime. But
Sicko.
Thanksgiving is.
You've heard of a five finger discount. How about a 5 toe discount?
Yeah, I'm 10 toes down. But I do love Thanksgiving because, like everything you said about Christmas, kind of like that. It's either you enjoy it for those times, or even in that time period, you don't get what you want, then you're selfish.
Right.
And then if you don't give a gift because you're not expected to, then there's the kid that does. Like, what are you doing giving gifts? Like, this is my time to shine.
We're supposed to discuss this.
Yeah, right.
What are you giving gifts for?
And then when you get older, it's like the obligation of giving gifts. And it's like, this sucks too.
But Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. All you have to do.
Relax.
All you have
to do is eat and watch football. And talk.
Yeah. The family tries to shoehorn the Macy's Day Parade. It's like, this is not part.
Turn it off.
I don't care. I'm not waking up for that.
No. There's a dog show going on.
Yeah, the dog show's awesome.
I'll watch.
I'm not watching a parade instead of a dog show.
I'm not watching the parade instead of a dog show. I'll watch the dog show.
Dog show's on.
Dog show is awesome.
Dog show fucking rules.
Yeah.
And they always play. I think Ferris Bueller's Day Off comes on for some reason because of the Macy's Day Parade, probably.
Thanksgiving's a good holiday. I'm also a big food guy. So
see, you get the food, and it's a absolute excuse to just get shit-faced.
Yeah,
like,
well,
you can start drinking. I know, but I'm saying for
for
the normal folk, like
asleep by 4:30.
Yeah, exactly. You get like rip roaring drunk in the morning because nobody cares because like I'm cooking.
Yeah.
Or something, or watching football or the dog show, and it's just like you're having whiskey at 9 a.m. Like, and then you fall asleep, and nobody cares. Like, oh, tryptophan, it's the turkey. Great holiday.
Great holiday. It is a good holiday.
So we got here.
Let's see.
Gloves, applause, helmet, clapping.
So we have applause, clapping.
Ovation, he was clapping.
Ovation, and hand.
No.
Oh yeah, give him a hand.
Give him a hand.
No, give him a hand. Give him a helmet.
Give him a hand. We've got helmet, gloves, skates, and stick for hockey.
Hockey.
You've got Osaka.
Graf.
Oh yeah.
Pierce.
Kelly
Osaka,
Graf.
And then Keys.
Arden Keys.
And then it is step, touch, tail, brush.
Tip to touch to tail of the brush.
Step back, touch back, tail back. There you go.
All right, good start, boys.
Good start. This is where we struggle.
So do it. Here we go.
We've actually been. I'm not gonna. We've been fairly smarter
We've been going 13 for 13.
Yeah, no, but we haven't been as reliant on the chat.
The chat, yeah. Shout out to Wyatt.
Shout out to Wyatt.
Wyatt did help out a good. Shout out to Mike.
Shout out to Mike.
Mike threw that Roseanne
Yeah.
out there the other day.
That was awesome. And then Jonathan obviously helps also because
He does. Yeah,
I don't know.
He knows.
Television, movies, music,
Yeah, he's got
and
that.
cars. Loves a car.
Let's see here. Celebrity mashup.
And
Show
then
me
you
that
have,
face.
You have this weird skill.
Show me that face.
Oh,
Ari Gold.
Ari Gold.
And Matt LeBlanc.
It looks like a real person.
It does. It's Matt LeBlanc and it's
Jeremy
whatever.
Piven.
Yeah, Jeremy Piven.
Ari Gold. I almost typed in Ari Gold.
He'll never be anyone else to me.
No, and I think he knows that, and I think he's okay with
I
it.
think he's accepted it. It's just one of those characters where,
I mean, Matt LeBlanc's always Joey, too.
right. A two-time Pro Bowler, linebacker Sean Lee, played for this NFC team. Will this not be the Cowboys?
The Cowboys.
He's number 50,
Running around like a wild man.
like a white man.
That's
This player
right.
hit over 300 three-pointers for the Pistons in the 2024-2025
Whoa.
season and finished runner-up for Sixth Man of the Year,
Beasley.
but is currently a free agent. I believe that is Malik Beasley.
Yeah.
He's a free agent because he got caught gambling.
Yeah, I think he's in trouble.
Yep. Alex Something and Kevin Shattenkirk, as well as Dave Perrin, all recorded 40-plus points for this 49-win Western Conference team, 2011-2012.
I couldn't even.
The Dallas Stars.
I've never heard of any of those people.
Me either. I didn't even know what sport they said points, and I got confused.
Thought it was NBA.
Oh, Ed O'Neill is always Al Bundy.
Just leave that one.
Yeah. There's a lot of actors that'll never be another character, you know?
I would love to be pigeonholed,
Yeah.
typecast. They're like, oh, I've made a ton of money on shows. Like, I just get a check in the mail.
Right.
Oh, you're Ari Gold. Like, yep, I am.
I think it'd be great to be like the progressive lady.
Yeah, the one with the huge honkers. No, that was AT&T.
Yeah.
They hid those from you, didn't they?
She's like a real actress, though. The progressive lady just does.
Oh, Flo?
The Flow?
Yeah, Flo.
I don't
The
know.
Carnival is a minivan model produced by this car brand.
Carnival. Duval.
Duval.
Actually, is a shockingly good coach.
Yeah, he's actually really good at his job. Kia.
Kia Carnival? I'm not buying that.
I like it. Bonchon.
Chicken is one of the largest Asian food chains in the United States and was founded in this country where the style of food originates.
Korea.
China.
It's the best chicken.
Bon Bon Chicken we've brought into America. We've infiltrated
Oh,
America.
Bonchon.
With the Bonchon Chicken here in America. Truly.
Like Bon. No, that's spelled differently. Bon Mi.
Truly Bonchon.
Korean fried chicken is all I can think of. Like, right?
Right. Or, I mean, Korea is...
Which one is the nice one and which one's the mean one?
South is the nice one.
I don't think there are any.
Yes.
Good job. Your Korean fried chicken.
Bonchon. Oh, bonchon.
This woman won the 2019 Screen SAG Award
Is this
for
Jennifer
Best
Aniston?
Actress for Apple TV's The Morning Show.
Reese Witherspoon.
I've never seen The Morning Show. I am The Morning Show. Tingle & Co., The Morning Show.
Oh, you dick.
That was the other one.
It
Jack
was.
Nicholson played a man who feels lost after retiring and takes an RV trip to his estranged daughter's wedding in this 2002 Alexander Payne directed dramedy. It was
like
Jennifer Aniston.
I know it
Answer.
was.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It's okay.
But now he has to get this one right to right his wrongs.
You have to right
I
your
don't know
wrongs
this.
here.
What the fuck, me? I
Yeah.
didn't know Jack Nicholson was between the two.
I didn't know he did this.
Me neither. A dramedy.
Is this when he has Aubrey Plaza?
No, it's too-
Johnny L. Goodson called it, says, About Schmidt.
Yeah, I think he gets in the hot tub with Kathy Bates.
Mm.
Seriously.
I wake up every evening with a big smile on my face, and it never feels out of place. The opening lyrics to this, I don't know the song, so I can't
Me
sing it.
either.
I wake up every morning with a big smile on my
Yeah,
face, and it never feels
I was
out
about to say,
of place.
you did Katy Perry. Those lyrics no longer play.
Kesha.
Kesha.
Wake up in
Every
the
morning
morning feeling like.
Oh, yeah.
Baby oil.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think they banned that. I think they changed the lyrics on that song.
I would hope so. You have to. Right?
Or was it a double entendre?
Gives you hell.
I kind of want to that.
Hope it gives you hell. Hope it gives
Yeah.
you. Is it that song?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, double dip.
Yes, please allow me to double dip.
I would. That's all right.
Jennifer Aniston.
Totally worth a double dip. People have done it to her 1,000 times. I'll break up with you. I'll
Hey,
try
she's been
again.
through a lot.
Of dick.
We appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on this Thursday morning. We will set you up for LSU Vanderbilt tomorrow live, 7 to 9 a.m. And we expect to see each and every one of you at
Street.
Golf Suites, 11 a.m. LSU kickoff. Keg party.
It's a keg party.
At Golf Suites, Saturday, 11 a.m. We will see you there. We'll see you tomorrow, 7 to 9 a.m.